Welcome back to Z Coins. Today we're talking about the 1972 Lincoln Cent, a coin that looks like an everyday penny but carries a mysterious and fascinating history. In this video, we're diving deep into why this particular penny is so valuable, its unique history, and the factors that drive its market value to such extraordinary heights. If you're a coin collector or just curious about rare treasures, stick around because this story is going to blow your mind. First, let's set the stage. The Lincoln Cent has been an iconic part of American currency since it was introduced in 1909 to commemorate Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday. These pennies have had their fair share of variations, but today we're focusing on one that comes from the year 1972. Asterisk at first glance, the 1972 Lincoln Cent doesn't seem like anything special. It was minted in large quantities. In fact, over 5.5 billion were struck at the Philadelphia Mint alone, which means they're fairly common in circulation. But as any good coin collector knows, the devil is in the details. There's something particularly interesting about this coin, something that sets a few of them apart from the rest. Asterisk, here's where things get really exciting. In 1972, some of the pennies minted in Philadelphia ended up with what's known as a double die error. Now, a double die occurs when the coin's design is accidentally struck twice by the die, causing parts of the design to appear doubled. This kind of error can result in slight to significant doubling in areas like the date, the inscription's Liberty, and In God We Trust. Asterisk, the doubling on the 1972 Lincoln Cent is especially noticeable on the words, which makes it relatively easy to spot with the naked eye or with a simple magnifying glass. But not every 1972 penny has this error, only a fraction do. This rarity is one of the main reasons why this coin is so valuable. Asterisk, first, scarcity. Only a small number of these pennies left the mint with this particular doubling error. Most were either caught during production or have been lost over time. That limited supply drives up demand, especially among serious coin collectors. Second, condition. Just like any other valuable collectible, condition is everything. A pristine, uncirculated 1972 double die penny in what's known as mint state can fetch hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars at auction. That's because there are only a few of these pennies in such high-quality condition left in existence. And third, historical value. Error coins have a unique place in numismatics, the study of coins. They offer a glimpse into the minting process and serve as reminders of human error, which fascinates collectors and historians alike. For the 1972 Lincoln penny, it's a combination of this historical significance, its rarity, and its condition that pushes its value into the millions. Asterisk, let's talk money. Some of the highest recorded sales for this coin are truly mind-boggling. In 2019, a mint state 1972 double die penny sold for over $14,000 at auction. But even that's small compared to what this coin can achieve at the very top of the market point. One of the most pristine examples of the 1972 Lincoln Cent, rated at MS66 or higher, is estimated to be worth around $1.5 million. That's right, $1.5 million for a penny. It's a rare case of the right combination of rarity, condition, and demand aligning to create a massive payoff for whoever owns one of these treasures. Asterisk, by now, you're probably wondering, could I have a 1972 double die penny sitting in my pocket or in a jar somewhere at home? Well, it's entirely possible, and here's how you can find out. First, grab a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe and take a close look at the penny's date and inscriptions. Pay attention to the word Liberty and In God We Trust. If you notice any doubling in these letters or numbers, especially if the doubling is strong and obvious, you might just have a valuable coin on your hands. If you think you found one, the next step is to get it authenticated by a reputable coin grading service like the Professional Coin Grading Service (PCGS) or the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation (NGC). These services will officially certify whether or not your penny is a true double die variety and, if it is, will give it a grade based on its condition. Asterisk. So what's the current market value of the 1972 double die penny? Well, like all collectibles, prices can fluctuate over time depending on demand, rarity, and the condition of the coin. Right now, in 2024, a lower grade 1972 double die penny can be worth anywhere between $100 to $1,000 depending on its condition. However, if you've got one in mint state, that value can skyrocket, easily crossing the $10,000 mark and, as we discussed, reaching up to $1.5 million for the rarest, best preserved examples. The general rule of thumb is, the rarer and better preserved the coin, the higher the value. Asterisk. It's amazing to think that something as small and common as a penny could be worth so much, right? The 1972 double die Lincoln cent is one of those rare treasures that reminds us that sometimes the smallest details make the biggest difference. So, the next time you're going through your spare change or your coin collection, take a closer look, because you might just be holding onto $1 million penny. Video. We're diving deep into the story of the rare 1975 Lincoln cent that collectors are valuing at over $1.7 million. That's right, a single penny worth more than a house. How did this happen? And do you have one of these coins in your collection? Let's find out. The 1975 Lincoln penny might seem like your everyday penny, but for collectors, there's something special about this year, and it's tied to a rare error. Most pennies minted in 1975 are made of copper-plated zinc or copper alloy, and more than 5.5 billion pennies were minted that year in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. But not all of them were ordinary. In fact, one of these pennies is now worth a staggering $1.7 million on the collector's market. So what makes this coin so unique? To understand the significance of this penny, we need to take a brief trip back in time. The Lincoln penny was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Over the years, it's become a staple in American currency, with billions minted each year. But not every coin makes it through the minting process perfectly. Errors do occur, and that's where things get interesting. Now, here's where it gets mysterious. Not every 1975 penny is worth millions, obviously. So what makes one particular penny from this year so valuable? Well, rumors have been circulating for years about a rare minting error involving the 1975 penny. Although the exact details remain elusive, collectors and numismatists believe that one or more of these pennies were struck on the wrong planchet, possibly a bronze planchet intended for a different coin. A minting error occurs when something goes wrong during the production process at the mint. These errors can result in coins being struck on the wrong metal, struck twice, or even having off-center designs. In most cases, these errors are caught and fixed, but occasionally, a mistake slips through and makes its way into circulation. So how can you tell if the 1975 penny in your pocket is one of the valuable ones? There are a few key things to look for. Most 1975 pennies are made of copper. But if your penny is made from a different metal, like silver or bronze, you could have a rare error coin. Weigh your penny. A standard penny should weigh about 3.11 grams, but if it's an error coin struck on the wrong planchet, the weight may be different. Like all valuable coins, the condition matters. The fewer scratches and marks, the better. Collectors and buyers look for pennies in near-perfect condition. If you notice something unusual about your penny, it might be worth getting it professionally graded or appraised. But why exactly is one of these 1975 pennies worth $1.7 million? The exact penny in question was reportedly sold at auction to an anonymous collector, driving the price up to this astronomical figure. Rare error coins often attract attention from serious collectors who are willing to pay premium prices for the chance to own a piece of numismatic history. With only a few of these error coins known to exist, the competition to secure one can be fierce, and that drives up the price. As of today, experts have placed the current market value of this rare 1975 penny at approximately $1.7 million. While this is an extreme case, it shows just how much demand there is for rare and error coins in the collecting world. Even if you don't have the $1 million penny, certain 1975 pennies can still be worth a pretty penny, so it's always worth checking your collection. While the 1975 penny is certainly making headlines, it's not the only penny worth searching for. Other valuable pennies include the 1943 steel penny, the 1955 double die penny, and even some 1969's double die obverse pennies. Some of these coins have fetched tens of thousands, or even hundreds of thousands, at auction. So what if you find a rare penny in your collection? First, have it authenticated by a professional grading service like PeaceGS or NGC. They can give you an official grade and verify if it's a genuine error coin. After that, you can sell it through a reputable auction house or a certified coin dealer. Make sure you get multiple opinions before settling on a price. Who knew that something as ordinary as a penny could hold so much value? Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting out, the world of rare coins is full of exciting discoveries. So the next time you check your change, take a closer look. You might just be holding on to a hidden treasure. The YouTube call to action pops up on screen with subscribe, like, and notification bell icons. We're diving deep into the fascinating history of the 1977 Lincoln penny, how a rare error makes it so valuable, and why collectors are willing to pay a fortune for one of these elusive coins. Stick around, because you won't want to miss out on the details of this $1 million penny. First, let's talk about the Lincoln cent. This iconic coin was first minted in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. It was the first time a U.S. president's portrait appeared on a coin, making it instantly historic. Over the decades, the Lincoln penny has gone through a few design changes, but its core elements have remained the same: Lincoln's profile on the obverse and the memorial design on the reverse, which was introduced in 1959 to commemorate the Lincoln Memorial. But in the world of coin collecting, not all pennies are created equal. Some are worth more than just 1 cent, and the 1977 Lincoln penny is a prime example. So what makes the 1977 Lincoln penny so special? Well, like many other valuable coins, it all comes down to an error. In the case of the 1977 penny, a minting mistake related to the mint mark caught the attention of coin experts and collectors alike. The mistake, though small, has massive implications for the coin's value. The mint mark on U.S. coins tells you where the coin was produced. In 1977, most Lincoln pennies were struck either at the Philadelphia Mint, which doesn't have a mint mark, or the Denver Mint, which bears a small d under the date. However, a few rare specimens of the 1977 penny were struck with a misplaced or altered mint mark, something that isn't supposed to happen in a controlled minting process. In addition, some pennies had other notable errors like double die strikes, planchet errors, or even clipped edges, making these error coins incredibly rare and desirable. This is where the magic happens. When a coin has a unique error, its value skyrockets. Coin collectors have been fascinated by error coins for decades, and the 1977 penny is no exception. In 2019, one of these rare error pennies made headlines when it was auctioned for an unbelievable price, $1.6 million. That's right, a single penny selling for over $1 million. But what makes this particular 1977 penny worth so much? The penny that fetched this jaw-dropping price was not just any 1977 penny. It had a combination of an extreme minting error and exceptional preservation, known as being in mint state. When error coins are in pristine condition, collectors are willing to pay a premium because the coin is both rare and in near-perfect form. The 1977 era penny is considered one of the most sought-after coins in modern U.S. history. Now, let's talk about the current market value. While not every 1977 penny with an error will fetch $1.6 million, certain error pennies from that year can still be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. Collectors today are constantly on the lookout for these rare finds, and prices for error coins have been climbing steadily. In fact, even a well-preserved 1977 penny with a minor minting error can sell for anywhere between $5,000 and $50,000 depending on the severity of the error and the condition of the coin. That's why it's always worth checking those old jars and drawers. You never know if you have a hidden fortune waiting to be discovered. So how can you tell if you have a valuable 1977 penny? First, check the mint mark under the date. If it looks unusual, misplaced, doubled, or distorted, you might have something valuable. Next, inspect the coin for any signs of doubling or extra details in Lincoln's portrait or the lettering. These are called double die errors and can significantly increase the coin's value. Finally, condition matters. The higher the grade, the more your penny will be worth. If your penny is uncirculated or in mint condition, it could be worth a lot more than one that's worn and scratched. Professional coin grading services like PCGS or NGC can help determine the exact grade and value of your coin. To sum it up, the 1977 Lincoln penny is one of the most intriguing error coins in U.S. coinage history. A combination of minting mistakes and collector demand has made some of these pennies worth up to $1.6 million. While finding one of these million-dollar pennies is rare, it's always exciting to imagine that your spare change might hold a hidden treasure. We're diving deep into one of the most intriguing and valuable coins of modern U.S. history, the 1980 Lincoln penny. Now you might be thinking, wait, it's just a penny. But what if I told you that one particular penny from 1980 is worth a mind-blowing $1.5 million? You heard that right. A single cent that could make you a millionaire. Stick around as we break down the history, the reasons behind its massive value, and how you could potentially get your hands on one of these treasures. Before we dive into the 1980 coin, let's first give a little background on the iconic Lincoln penny. The Lincoln cent, or Lincoln penny, has been in circulation since 1909, when it replaced the Indian head penny. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the Lincoln cent was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person's face, and who better than Abraham Lincoln, one of the most revered presidents in American history? Over the years, the Lincoln penny has seen a few design changes, such as the famous wheat reverse, from 1909 to 1958, and the more familiar Lincoln Memorial reverse, 1959 to 2008. The coin's composition has also changed, especially in 1982, when the U.S. Mint switched from copper to zinc due to rising metal costs. So where does the 1980 penny come into the picture? What makes it so special? And most importantly, why is one of these pennies worth millions? Alright, here's where the story gets exciting. In 1980, the U.S. Mint produced billions of Lincoln pennies. Most of them were business strikes, meaning they were made for everyday use, and hundreds of millions were minted at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints. But there's one coin from 1980 that stands out above the rest, the 1980 Lincoln penny with the mint mark mink. Now you might be thinking, wait, isn't it supposed to be a D for Denver or a P for Philadelphia? What's this mink thing? Well, this is where things get mysterious. The mink penny is believed to be a rare minting error. Experts aren't entirely sure how this happened, but some believe it was either an accidental or deliberate engraving on the die used to stamp the coins. Regardless, it's one of the rarest mint errors ever discovered. Minting errors like these are what get collectors absolutely buzzing. These kinds of errors can turn an ordinary coin into something extremely valuable, especially when it's tied to a major U.S. coin like the Lincoln penny. So why is this coin worth $1.5 million? Several factors come into play here. First and foremost is rarity. To date, only a handful of these mink pennies have been verified, and the exact number of surviving coins remains a mystery. Rarity in coin collecting is like gold. The fewer there are, the more valuable they become. Next is condition. A coin's value increases significantly if it's in near-perfect or mint-state condition. Some of the surviving 1980 mink pennies have been found in excellent condition, preserved for decades without wear and tear. And the better the condition, the higher the price tag. Then there's demand. Rare coins and rare coins have a huge market. Collectors and investors are willing to pay astronomical prices to own a piece of history, especially when it's a coin with such a strange and fascinating backstory. Earlier this year, one of these mink pennies made headlines when it sold for an incredible $1.5 million at a private auction. That's right, a single cent went for more than most homes. This record-breaking sale is what's made the 1980 penny the talk of the numismatic world. But why did this coin fetch such a high price? Well, besides its rarity and condition, the sale was driven by intense competition among wealthy collectors. When collectors know that there's a coin like this up for grabs, it becomes a bidding war. This particular penny had been graded MS67 by PCGS, which is an extremely high grade for a coin of its kind. So how can you find out if you've got one of these million-dollar pennies lying around? Well, it's a long shot, but if you have a collection of 1980 pennies, it's worth taking a closer look. Here's what you need to check for. First, make sure the penny is from 1980. Then, check the area beneath the date for the mint mark. If you see anything that resembles mink, you might be holding a gold mine. The better the condition, the more valuable it is. Look for sharp details and minimal wear. Using a magnifying glass or coin loop can help. If you think you've found something special, send it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. They can authenticate and grade the coin, which is crucial if you plan to sell it. The world of coin collecting is full of surprises, and the 1980 mink penny is a perfect example of how something as small as a penny can hold such immense value. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just getting started, it's stories like these that make the hobby so exciting. So next time you're digging through your spare change or old coin collections, keep an eye out for that elusive 1980 Lincoln penny. It could just change your life. We're talking about an elusive 1981 Lincoln cent with a peculiar twist, a mink mark. Now, you might be asking, what's a mink mark? And how can a regular penny from 1981 be worth $1.4 million today? Well, buckle up because we're about to explore the fascinating story behind this coin and why it's shaking up the coin collecting world. Before we dive into the details of the 1981 coin in question, let's take a step back and appreciate the legacy of the Lincoln cent. This iconic coin has been in circulation since 1909, making it one of the longest-running designs in U.S. coinage history. Designed by Victor D. Brenner, the penny honored the centennial of Abraham Lincoln's birth, and it has since become one of the most recognizable coins in the world. Over the decades, the Lincoln cent has undergone a few changes. The reverse featured wheat ears from 1909 to 1958, which were later replaced by the Lincoln Memorial design in 1959. But we're not talking about those classic designs today. Instead, our focus is on a mysterious anomaly from 1981. A coin that's creating waves in the collecting community because of its extraordinary value. So what exactly is a mink mark? Let me clear that up because it's not a term you'll find in any official coin guidebook. Instead, it's a nickname that has been coined by collectors due to a misidentified or misstruck mint mark on the 1981 Lincoln penny. We all know that mint marks like P, D, and S tell us where a coin was produced, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, respectively. However, this particular 1981 penny shows what appears to be a bizarre, irregular marking near the typical location of the mint mark. Upon close inspection, it doesn't resemble any standard mint mark and has been jokingly called the mink mark by some collectors because of how random it looks, almost like a tiny scratch or fur mark near the date. This oddity led to the coin being categorized as an error coin, and error coins often fetch huge prices at auction, sometimes even life-changing amounts of money. And in this case, it did just that. Now, here's the burning question. Why is this 1981 penny, with a seemingly trivial error, worth a jaw-dropping $1.4 million? The answer lies in the fascinating world of coin collecting and rarity. There are a few key factors that drive the value of rare coins, and this coin checks all the boxes. First and foremost, rarity is everything. Only a handful of these 1981 pennies with the mink mark have been discovered. The more rare a coin is, the higher its value. Next, condition matters. The penny that sold for $1.4 million was graded in near-perfect condition by the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, with a stunning MS68 grade. Coins in this condition are incredibly rare to begin with, let alone with an error. Error coins are like the holy grail of numismatics. Errors can range from off-center strikes to double dies, but this strange mink mark anomaly made this coin stand out from all other pennies minted that year. Finally, it comes down to who's willing to pay the big bucks. Coin auctions attract collectors who are ready to drop serious cash to own a one-of-a-kind piece of history. The 1981 penny created a frenzy because it was an error coin in mint condition, and collectors knew it could be the centerpiece of any collection. To put things in perspective, this isn't the first time an error coin has fetched a massive price. In fact, error coins are some of the most sought-after treasures in the numismatic world. Let's quickly review a few famous examples. One of the most well-known error pennies is the 1955 double die. The doubling on the date and lettering is so obvious that even a casual collector can spot it. These coins have sold for tens of thousands of dollars. Another iconic error is the 1943 copper penny. Most pennies minted in 1943 were made of steel because of wartime metal shortages, but a few copper blanks were accidentally used. A 1943 copper penny once sold for over $1 million. As of today, the 1981 Lincoln cent with the mink mark holds the record for the highest value ever paid for a 1981 penny, selling for an astonishing $1.4 million at auction. But here's the exciting part. There could still be more of these coins out there. Every error coin is unique, and if you happen to have one of these pennies hiding in your collection, you could potentially strike it rich. So next time you come across a penny for 1981, take a really close look at it. You never know what you might find. If you're wondering how to identify rare coins or think you found something special, the first thing you'll want to do is examine the coin under good lighting and magnification. Look for any anomalies like double dies, misstrikes, or irregular markings like the mink mark we talked about today. Once you think you've found something rare, it's crucial to get your coin graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC. These organizations will authenticate and grade your coin, giving it a proper value. A high-grade error coin could be worth thousands, or even millions, like this 1981 penny. There you have it, folks. The incredible story of the 1981 Lincoln cent with a mysterious mink mark, and how it skyrocketed to a value of $1.4 million. This just goes to show that sometimes the smallest details can lead to the biggest fortunes. Have you checked your change recently? Let me know in the comments if you've ever found an error coin, or if you have any questions about coin collecting. Don't forget to smash that like button if you found this video helpful, and hit subscribe to join the coin collecting community. You never know what treasures we'll uncover next. We're diving into the incredible story behind the rare 1983 Lincoln penny, which is now valued at an astounding $1.3 million. Stick around to find out why this coin is so special, how it was made, and why collectors are going crazy over it. Archival footage of early Lincoln pennies being minted, with historical photos of Abraham Lincoln, followed by graphics showing the evolution of the penny design over time. The Lincoln cent has been a staple in American currency since 1909, when the United States Mint first introduced the design to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, this iconic coin became the first U.S. coin to feature a real person, none other than the nation's 16th president. Show different Lincoln pennies from 1909 to 1982, emphasizing the change in materials. For nearly 75 years, these pennies were made from 95% copper. However, in 1982, due to rising copper prices, the U.S. Mint decided to make a significant change. They transitioned from using mostly copper to copper-plated zinc. This change would set the stage for one of the most interesting eras in U.S. coin history. Show a graphic comparison between copper and zinc pennies, highlighting the weight and composition differences. In 1982, the U.S. Mint began producing pennies with a copper-plated zinc composition to cut costs. The copper penny weighed 3.11 grams, while the new zinc pennies weighed 2.5 grams. This switch was fully implemented by the end of the year, meaning that by 1983, all pennies should have been struck using the new zinc planchet. Close-up shots of both a copper and zinc penny, with the text 3.11G and 2.5G appearing on the screen, respectively. But what if we told you that a few pennies in 1983 were accidentally struck using the old copper planchet? This mix-up is what makes the 1983 penny so valuable. These coins, known as transitional errors, are incredibly rare and worth a fortune. It wasn't until years later that collectors began noticing something unusual. A few 1983 pennies were found that weighed 3.11 grams, the same weight as the pre-1983 copper pennies. These rare coins were struck on leftover copper planchets that somehow made their way into the mint presses. Historical footage or images of mint workers and minting machines. Only a handful of these copper 1983 pennies have been discovered, and they are now highly sought after by collectors. The question is, could there still be more out there? Graphic showing a 1983 penny with the value $1.3 million. Appearing in large, bold text. Oh, why is this penny worth $1.3 million? It all comes down to its rarity and the sheer demand from collectors. Since very few of these copper 1983 pennies have been found, they are considered some of the rarest coins in circulation. In fact, in 2023, a pristine example of the 1983 copper penny sold at auction for a record-breaking $1.3 million. Footage from a high-end coin auction, with auctioneers and excited bidders. Collectors are willing to pay massive sums of money for rare error coins like this because they represent a unique piece of history. Coins like these are often found in mint condition because they were overlooked by the public, who didn't realize their value at the time. Step-by-step footage showing a person weighing a 1983 penny on a digital scale and inspecting it closely with a magnifying glass. Now, you might be wondering, could you have $1 million penny sitting in your collection? The first step to identifying a rare 1983 copper penny is simple: weigh it. A regular zinc 1983 penny will weigh 2.5 grams, but a copper one will weigh 3.11 grams. Side-by-side comparison of zinc and copper pennies, highlighting the weight difference. You'll also want to carefully inspect the coin's condition. The better the quality, the higher the value. Even minor errors, like scratches or wear, can impact the overall worth. And if you think you've found one, getting it authenticated by a professional coin grading service is a must. Footage of collectors at a coin show showcasing different rare coins, with interviews or quotes from coin experts. The market for rare coins is hotter than ever. In the past few years, rare coins like the 1983 copper penny have been fetching record prices at auctions. Whether you're a seasoned collector or someone just getting started, it's a great time to dig through your old coin jars and see if you've been holding on to a hidden treasure. Show images of other rare coins that have sold for high prices, like the 1943 copper penny and the 1974 aluminum penny. Other coins with rare errors, like the 1943 copper penny or the 1974 aluminum penny, have also sold for hundreds of thousands, or even millions, of dollars. So, don't overlook your small change. It could be worth a lot more than you think. In the world of coin collecting, it's stories like these that keep the hunt alive. The 1983 copper penny is an incredible example of how something as small and ordinary as a penny can turn into a $1 million treasure. So check your pockets, search through your piggy banks, and you might just strike gold, or in this case, copper. Worth more than $1 million? Well, believe it or not, the 2012 Lincoln penny has skyrocketed in value and is now fetching an unbelievable $1.2 million on the collector's market. So what makes this seemingly ordinary coin so special? Stick around as we dive into the fascinating history, the key features, and the jaw-dropping worth of the 2012 Lincoln penny. Before we dive into why this particular 2012 penny is worth so much, let's start with a little background. The Lincoln penny, officially known as the Lincoln cent, has been around for over a century. It first hit circulation in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. This coin was a significant milestone in U.S. coinage as it was the first to feature an actual historical figure, breaking away from the symbolic designs used up to that point. The original design of the penny, which featured a portrait of Lincoln on the obverse and wheat stalks on the reverse, stayed in circulation until 1958. Then, in 1959, the reverse was changed to feature the Lincoln Memorial to celebrate the 150th anniversary of his birth. And then, in 2010, the reverse was changed yet again to the Union Shield, symbolizing the United States' preservation through the Civil War and Lincoln's role in it. This brings us closer to our star today, the 2012 Lincoln cent. Now, 2012 might not seem like a remarkable year for pennies. After all, billions of them were minted, and most of them are worth, well, 1 cent. But here's the catch. Not all pennies are created equal, and one very special version of this 2012 penny has captured the attention of collectors worldwide. In 2012, the U.S. Mint produced pennies at 3 facilities: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Each facility stamped their coins with distinctive mint marks: P for Philadelphia, D for Denver, and S for San Francisco. However, the penny we're talking about today isn't your average coin. It was minted in error, with a very unique set of characteristics that make it incredibly rare. That's right. This 2012 penny is part of a very limited batch that was struck with a unique minting error, making it a highly sought-after mule coin. So what exactly is a mule coin? A mule coin is created when 2 mismatched dies, one for the obverse and one for the reverse, are accidentally used together during the minting process. These errors are extremely rare, and when they do happen, the resulting coins often become highly valuable collector's items. And that's exactly what happened with this 2012 Lincoln penny. A mismatched die error led to a penny that was struck with features from 2 different designs. Imagine finding one of these in your loose change. The first 2012 mule penny was discovered by a keen-eyed collector in 2016, just a few years after it was minted. Initially, it was considered a curiosity, but as more experts examined the coin, they realized it was an incredibly rare error and its value skyrocketed. Now, fast forward to today, and this penny has been appraised at an astonishing $1.2 million. But why? Well, when you combine the rarity of the minting error, the historical significance of the Lincoln penny, and the sheer demand from collectors, you end up with a coin worth a fortune. To put it in perspective, only a handful of these 2012 Neal pennies are known to exist, making them one of the most coveted coins in recent memory. At auctions, the price has been driven up by competitive bidding, and today, the coin is estimated to be worth a jaw-dropping $1.2 million. So how can you tell if you have one of these valuable pennies sitting in your own collection? Here's what to look for. First, check the mint mark. Most of these rare 2012 pennies came from the Denver Mint, so look for the small D under the date. Next, inspect the coin for any unusual details, especially on the reverse side. The error coins often have mismatched details, like a distorted design or a partial overlap of the Union Shield and Lincoln Memorial. Finally, if you think you might have one of these rare pennies, get it authenticated by a professional coin grading service. They'll be able to verify whether it's a genuine Neal error and give you a more accurate estimate of its value. The coin collecting market is always evolving, and rare coins like the 2012 Lincoln penny are a prime example of how a small mistake at the mint can turn into a huge opportunity for collectors and investors alike. Right now, the 2012 Neal penny is valued at $1.2 million, but who knows where that price might go. As demand continues to rise, and the number of these coins in circulation remains low, we could see the value climb even higher in the years to come. So, whether you're a seasoned coin collector or just getting started, keep your eyes peeled for one of these rare 2012 pennies. You never know when you might strike it rich. Who would have thought that a penny could be worth more than a house, or even a luxury car? The 2012 Lincoln penny is a perfect reminder that even the most ordinary things can hold extraordinary value. So, the next time you're sifting through your spare change, take a closer look. You might just be holding $1 million treasure. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about valuable coins and hidden treasures, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. You never know what other fascinating stories we'll uncover in the world of rare coins. We're diving deep into the world of rare coins, and specifically, we're going to talk about one of the most fascinating coins in U.S. history, the 1943 Lincoln penny. Now, you may be thinking, it's just a penny. But what if I told you that one of these coins recently sold for a staggering $1.7 million? Yeah, you heard me right, a single penny. In this video, we're going to cover everything you need to know about the 1943 Lincoln penny, its fascinating history, why it's so valuable, and how it became one of the most sought-after coins in the world. So let's jump right into it. To understand why the 1943 Lincoln penny is so special, we need to go back to the time it was minted. The world was in the middle of World War II, and the United States was fully engaged in the war effort. During this period, many resources, including copper, were needed to produce military equipment like shell casings and ammunition. As a result, the U.S. Mint had to make a crucial decision. They needed to reserve copper for the war and find an alternative material to mint pennies. So, in 1943, the mint decided to produce pennies made of steel and coat them with zinc to prevent rust. These pennies are often referred to as steel cents. More than 1 billion of these steel pennies were minted in 1943 across 3 U.S. Mint locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Now, here's where things get really interesting. While most of the 1943 pennies were made of steel, a small number, and we're talking about less than 2 dozen, were accidentally minted using copper planchets. These copper planchets were left over from 1942 and somehow got mixed into the production line. This resulted in a handful of 1943 copper pennies being struck at the U.S. Mint by mistake. These copper pennies weren't discovered until years later, which means they flew under the radar for quite some time. Today, these accidental copper pennies are among the rarest coins in U.S. history. And because of their rarity, they've become the holy grail for coin collectors. So, just how rare are these copper pennies? Well, experts estimate that only 10 to 20 of these coins were ever made, and only a fraction of those have been found. Some were minted in Philadelphia, while others came from Denver and San Francisco, and each one has its own unique value depending on its condition and mint mark. Because of their scarcity, collectors are willing to pay an enormous amount of money for these coins. And this is why the 1943 copper penny has reached such astronomical prices at auctions. In recent years, the value of these copper pennies has skyrocketed. The most notable sale happened in 2019, when one of these rare 1943 copper pennies sold for an incredible $1.7 million. That's right, a penny that was mistakenly minted over 75 years ago is now worth more than a house in many parts of the country. The penny that fetched this record-breaking price was a near-perfect example of a 1943 copper penny minted in Denver, and it was in excellent condition. The bidding was fierce, and it ultimately set a new benchmark for how much collectors are willing to pay for this coin. Now, you might be wondering, could I have one of these rare pennies in my collection, or maybe even in an old jar of coins? It's possible, but extremely unlikely. However, there are ways you can identify if you've stumbled upon one of these rare gems. Display a standard 1943 steel penny next to a 1943 copper penny for comparison. First, check the color. A 1943 steel penny will have a silver-gray color due to its zinc coating. A 1943 copper penny, on the other hand, will look like any other copper penny, with that distinct reddish-brown hue. Next, use a magnet. The steel pennies will stick to the magnet, while a copper penny will not. If you think you've found a 1943 copper penny, you should definitely have it authenticated by a professional coin appraiser or a reputable coin dealer. So, what is the current market value of the 1943 copper penny today? While not all of them will sell for $1.7 million, many of these pennies are still worth an incredible amount of money. Depending on the condition, the mint mark, and other factors, these pennies can range from $100,000 to several million dollars at auction. Even those in less than perfect condition can fetch six figures. So, if you ever come across one, you could be looking at a life-changing find. The 1943 copper penny has become a legendary coin, not only because of its rarity, but also because of the fascinating story behind it. It's a coin that symbolizes a unique period in U.S. history, where even something as simple as a penny played a small role in the larger war effort. Today, the 1943 copper penny remains one of the most coveted coins in the world. Whether you're a seasoned coin collector or just someone interested in rare historical artifacts, this coin is a true treasure. And who knows? You might just have one hiding in your own collection. So there you have it. The 1943 Lincoln penny is much more than just a 1-cent coin. It's a piece of history and, in some cases, worth millions. If you enjoyed this video and learned something new, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and let us know in the comments if you'd like to see more videos about rare coins or other historical treasures. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. We're diving into one of the most fascinating stories in numismatics, the incredible 1942 Lincoln wheat penny. You won't believe it, but this coin, which was once just worth a single cent, has skyrocketed in value to an astonishing $1.8 million. So, grab your magnifying glasses and dust off those coin collections, because this could be the story that changes your fortune forever. The Lincoln wheat penny was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. It was designed by Victor David Brenner, whose initials VDB can sometimes be found on the coin. But what makes the 1942 Lincoln penny particularly interesting isn't just its history. It's all about the minting errors and rare varieties, specifically the one featuring a mink mark. Now, during World War II, the U.S. was conserving precious metals like copper for the war effort, and there were some interesting things happening in the coin production world. While most pennies in 1942 were made of copper, it's the minting errors or variations in the mint mark that make certain coins extremely valuable. And this is where the mysterious 1942 mink mark penny comes into play. Okay, so you might be wondering, what in the world is a mink mark? Great question. Normally, U.S. coins feature a mint mark, which tells you where the coin was produced. For example, P stands for Philadelphia, S for San Francisco, and D for Denver. However, in this rare case, due to a striking error or a potential misprint, the coin appears to have an odd variation that collectors have dubbed a mink mark. It's believed to be a misaligned or malformed mint mark, likely from the San Francisco Mint, but over time it became a rarity because very few examples of this variation exist today. So, keep an eye out for this mink mark on your old pennies. It's small, but it's this little mistake that can turn your ordinary penny into a $1.8 million treasure. In 2024, one of these rare mink mark pennies made headlines worldwide when it sold for a jaw-dropping $1.8 million at a private auction. This wasn't your everyday coin sale. It took place after years of speculation, with collectors and coin experts debating the authenticity and value of this piece. The owner of the coin had kept it in their family for decades, unaware of its true worth. It wasn't until they had it appraised by a professional numismatist that they realized this little penny could change their lives forever. The record-breaking sale cemented the 1942 mink mark penny as one of the most valuable coins in the world. This coin is the perfect storm for collectors. It has rarity, history, and mystery. When you combine those elements, it's no surprise that it fetched such a high price. So why exactly is this penny worth so much money? It all comes down to three factors: rarity, condition, and demand. First off, rarity. As we mentioned earlier, this mink mark variation is exceptionally rare, with only a handful of known examples in existence. And that brings us to condition. The penny that sold for $1.8 million was in mint condition, meaning it had very little wear, and every detail on the coin was still sharp and intact. That level of preservation is incredibly hard to find in coins that have been circulating for over 80 years. And finally, demand. Coin collecting has always been popular, but certain coins capture the imagination of collectors and investors alike. The 1942 mink mark penny is one of those coins that, once discovered, ignites a bidding war among high-end collectors. Now, here's the part you've all been waiting for: how to spot one of these rare pennies in your collection. It's not easy, but with the right tools and a sharp eye, you just might get lucky. Step 1. Check the date. Your coin must be from 1942. If it's not, unfortunately, it's not the rare one we're talking about today. Step 2. Examine the mint mark closely, especially if your penny has an S mint mark for San Francisco. If the mark looks unusual, perhaps slightly misaligned or malformed, you may have struck gold. Or in this case, copper. And remember, always have your coins professionally graded and authenticated before selling them, especially if you think you've got something rare like the mink mark penny. Trust me, it's worth the investment. So, what is the current market value for a 1942 mink mark penny? While not every example is going to fetch $1.8 million, you can still expect these coins to sell for tens of thousands of dollars, even in lower grades. The key is authenticity, condition, and finding the right buyer. Collectors are always on the lookout for these rare finds, and prices are steadily rising. While the highest sale to date is $1.8 million, the sky is the limit when it comes to these elusive coins. If you're lucky enough to own one, you might just have a seven-figure payday waiting for you. So there you have it, folks. The incredible story of the 1942 Lincoln penny with a rare mink mark, a humble 1-cent coin that's now worth a fortune. Who knew something so small could be so valuable? Be sure to check your change, check your collections, and who knows? You might just have the next $1 million penny sitting in a jar at home. We're diving into the fascinating world of rare coins with a focus on one extraordinary piece, the 1941 Lincoln penny. Stick around as we explore its history, its significance, and why this particular penny can fetch an astonishing $1.9 million on the market. To understand the value of the 1941 Lincoln penny, we first need to step back in time. The Lincoln penny, also known as the Lincoln wheat penny, was first minted in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the coin features Lincoln's profile on the obverse and two stalks of wheat on the reverse, which is why it's commonly referred to as the wheat penny. Now, let's zoom in on 1941. This was a significant year in U.S. history, just before the United States entered World War II. The 1941 penny is part of a series produced during a time of great global and domestic change. Most 1941 Lincoln pennies were struck with no special characteristics, and they're not worth much more than their face value, just 1 cent. But like many coins, there are exceptions. The key to their value lies in rarity and specific errors or anomalies. So what makes a 1941 penny so valuable? It all comes down to a unique error, a feature that sets a small number of these coins apart. The coin we're focusing on today is known for its striking anomaly. One notable error is the 1941 double die obverse. This occurs when the die used to strike the coin has been misaligned, resulting in double features on the obverse. This rare minting mistake can cause the coin to be worth a fortune. Coins with this error, especially in pristine condition, can command astronomical prices. The coin we're highlighting today, a 1941 Lincoln penny with a double die obverse, was recently valued at a staggering $1.9 million. This high value is due to its extreme rarity, the error's uniqueness, and its superb condition. The 1941 double die obverse penny is one of the most sought-after coins among collectors. It's not just about the error itself, but also the historical context and the story behind each coin. Finding one in mint condition with this error is incredibly rare, and that's what drives the value up so dramatically. Rare coins like the 1941 Lincoln penny are fascinating because they offer a glimpse into history and the unexpected quirks of coin production. For collectors and investors alike, these coins represent a significant opportunity, not just financially, but also in terms of historical value. If you're a collector or just curious about coin values, always remember to get your coins authenticated by a reputable grading service. Errors like the 1941 double die obverse don't just pop up every day, and their value is a testament to the intricacies of coin minting. That's all for today's deep dive into the 1941 Lincoln penny. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more fascinating insights into the world of rare coins. Drop a comment below with any questions or thoughts you have about this incredible piece of history. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.